The strangest thing about being middle class today is that you are not poor enough to collapse, but you are not rich enough to relax. You have a job. You have income. Maybe you have a decent degree. You can pay rent, buy groceries, go out once in a while, subscribe to a few streaming services, and maybe take a trip once or twice a year. From the outside, your life looks fine. But the pressure is always there. You don't feel poor. You feel unsafe. You can technically afford things, but every purchase comes with a little calculation. You are not hopeless, but you are always wondering if you are actually stable. That is why being middle class feels worse than ever. In the past, middle class sounded like a reward. It meant you had done the right things: school, work, saving, maybe buying a home, raising a family, planning for retirement. Life was not supposed to be luxurious, but it was supposed to be stable. You might not be rich, but you were supposed to have breathing room. Now, middle class often feels like a pressure zone. You may earn too much to qualify for help, but not enough to escape anxiety. You look comfortable, but comfort itself has become expensive. The biggest problem is that the entry fee for a middle-class life has gone up. Imagine a normal household in America. 2 people are working, and together they make $120,000 a year. That sounds pretty good. But after taxes, health insurance, and retirement contributions, the monthly take-home pay is not as large as people imagine. Then, housing takes a huge piece. Car payments and insurance take another piece. Childcare takes another piece. Food, utilities, medical costs, credit card payments one by one, the income disappears. By the end, this family is not poor, but they are not exactly comfortable either. They may live in a decent neighborhood, drive normal cars, and go out to eat on the weekend. But if the fridge breaks, the car needs repairs, the dentist bill arrives, or rent goes up again, they feel it immediately. That is the modern middle-class paradox. The income looks fine, but the cushion is thin. A lot of people think middle-class stress is just consumerism. And yes, sometimes it is. But the bigger issue is that many things that used to feel like basic middle-class life have become premium products. Housing is no longer just housing. If you want a safe area, a reasonable commute, decent schools, and a place that does not feel depressing, the price jumps. Healthcare is no longer just healthcare. It is premiums, deductibles, co-pays, and surprise bills. Education is no longer just school. It is school districts, tuition, student loans, tutoring, activities, and the fear that your kid will fall behind. Even transportation is car payments, insurance, gas, repairs, parking, and the occasional mysterious noise that costs $900. The middle class is not being crushed by one giant bill. It is being eaten by 1,000 normal expenses. A $6 coffee will not destroy your life. A $28 takeout order is not a financial catastrophe. But when rent, insurance, healthcare, education, and transportation are already heavy, every small purchase starts to feel loaded. You can afford the coffee, but you still feel a little guilty buying it. That guilt is not poverty guilt. It is uncertainty guilt. You are not thinking, will I starve? You are thinking, did I just move myself slightly farther away from a house, retirement, paying off debt, or having a real emergency fund? There is a psychological reason for this: loss aversion. People tend to feel losses more strongly than gains of the same size. That is why you can get a $500 raise and feel good for 3 days. But if your rent goes up by $300, it annoys you for 3 months. Mathematically, you are still up $200. Emotionally, you feel like you lost. Your brain is not an accountant. It is more like an alarm system. This is why many middle-class people are making progress but not feeling progress. Every improvement in income gets swallowed by new costs, new responsibilities, and new expectations. There is another psychological effect called hedonic adaptation. Humans quickly turn a better life into the new normal. The first time you move into a nicer apartment, it feels like an upgrade. A few months later, it is just home. The first time your salary crosses a certain number, you feel like you finally made it. Then you realize the feeling does not last very long, but the bills show up every month with perfect discipline. Middle-class security is like your phone battery. You leave the house at 100%, feeling fine. Then you use maps, answer messages, check email, watch a video, and suddenly you are at 70%, 50%, 30%. Your paycheck can feel the same way. On payday, your sense of security feels fully charged. Then rent, insurance, kids, loans, and bills start draining it. Very quickly, you are back in low-power mode. This is why the middle class feels exhausted. People keep chasing the point where they will finally feel secure, but the point keeps moving. You think $80,000 will make you feel secure. Then it doesn't. You think $120,000 will make you feel secure. Then you move to a more expensive city, pay higher rent, and take on bigger responsibilities. You think buying a home will make you feel secure. Then repairs, property taxes, interest rates, and insurance enter the chat. This does not mean people are endlessly greedy. It means modern life keeps moving the definition of normal. Many people are not trying to live extravagantly. They are trying to afford what used to be called ordinary. Then there is the pressure of comparison. In the past, you compared yourself to neighbors, coworkers, relatives, maybe a few friends. Now, you compare yourself to the entire internet. You see people buying homes, getting promoted, starting businesses, retiring early, traveling through Europe, renovating kitchens, and posting investment wins. You know these are highlight reels, but your brain does not always care. So you can be living a decent life and still feel behind. This is especially painful for the middle class because middle class people often believe in progress. They believe in education, planning, hard work, and self-improvement. Their pain is not, I don't want to move forward. Their pain is, I keep moving forward, so why do I still feel like I'm falling behind? That feeling is called relative deprivation. It does not mean your life is objectively terrible. It means your results feel smaller than what you expected after all that effort. Think of a young professional making $90,000 a year. In many places, that sounds like a good income. But he lives in a high-cost city, pays $2,400 in rent, still has student loans, car insurance went up, and groceries somehow cost more every week. He looks like a successful white-collar worker, stable job, decent clothes, normal life. Then he opens social media and sees people his age, buying houses, launching startups, and working remotely from Lisbon. Suddenly he wonders, what did I do wrong? Maybe nothing. Maybe the game just got more expensive. There is another reason being middle class feels worse: the pressure of not falling down. If you are already wealthy, you have assets, investments, buffers, and options. If you are poor, the pressure is brutal, but society is at least more willing to admit you need help. The middle class gets stuck in between. Their stress is often dismissed because people say, "You make decent money. What are you complaining about?" But that is exactly the problem. Middle-class anxiety is not usually, "Can I eat today?" It is, "Can I keep this whole thing going? What happens if I lose my job? What happens to the mortgage? What if my kid needs more support? What if my parents need help? What if a medical bill shows up? What if retirement is not enough?" Middle-class people are not just working for today. They are working against an entire set of future risks. That creates a low-level stress that never fully turns off. It may not knock you down every day, but it slowly drains you. So why does being middle class feel worse than ever? Not because middle class people have nothing. It is because what they have feels harder to protect. If you have a house, you have to keep paying for it. If you have a job, you have to keep protecting it. If you have kids, you have to keep investing in them. If you have a respectable life, you have to keep maintaining it. The middle class is not afraid because they have nothing to lose. They are afraid because they have just enough to lose. The modern economy has also pushed more risk onto individuals. Retirement shifted from company pensions toward personal investment accounts. Education costs shifted more onto families. Healthcare became more complicated. Housing became more like an asset competition. Risks that used to be partly absorbed by institutions now land directly on households. That is why many middle-class people feel like they are running a small company. You manage income, expenses, debt, insurance, investments, education budgets, retirement plans, family risks, and somehow your own emotional stability. You are not just living. You are operating a project that is never allowed to fail. And the project has no real clock-out time. If you want to understand modern middle-class life, imagine a stick figure standing on a platform labeled stable job, decent income, and respectable life. But under the platform, there is no solid ground. There is a pile of rising costs: housing, healthcare, education, debt, retirement, inflation. The stick figure is not climbing upward. He is trying not to fall. That is the emotional reality of the middle class today. Not upward mobility, but downward prevention. It also explains why many people earn more than before but do not feel happier. More of their money is used to buy safety, not joy. Rent is not joy. Insurance is not joy. Childcare is not joy. Debt payments are not joy. They are the cost of keeping life running. So why does being middle class feel worse than ever? Because the promise changed. It used to promise stability, progress, and breathing room. Now it feels more like constant defense. Defend against bills, defend against falling behind, defend your child's future, defend your retirement, defend your life from one unexpected event that could undo years of work. The hardest part of being middle class is not that you failed. It is that success increasingly feels like a subscription service. You do not win once. You have to win every month. In the end, the biggest middle class problem may not be poverty. It may be uncertainty. You have things, but you are not sure you can keep them. You have income, but you are not sure it will be enough. You have a life, but you are not sure the price of that life will stop rising. So when people say the middle class is struggling, what they may really mean is, I do have a life. I just can't trust that it's safe anymore. And once that sense of safety disappears, middle class stops feeling like a status. It feels like a balancing act that never ends.